is my painting that I've been researching for Tagging the Treasures, and it's called Portrait of a Lady by an artist I researched before, which I enjoyed. So I thought I'd look up the Caffieri and see if I could find him, which I did. So I managed to find out that he was indeed born in Cheltenham, which I'd already found out, that he then moved to London. I found him in London. I found his school, so I sort of like tracked him through his life until the early 20th century. And it did state that he did live in France for a while, so I knew that I probably was going to lose his trace round about 1900. Anyway, I then sort of like looked further into it, and in the records in Ancestry it actually cited a couple of books where you could find information on Hector Caffieri. So I went over to Harry's Museum and looked him up in a couple of books. There was a book by a chap called Millier, Henry Millier, I think that's his name, and that was about Victorian watercolourists. So Hector Caffieri, I found out, was well known as a Victorian watercolourist, but clearly this wasn't a watercolour, it was an oil. So that then kind of got me thinking about this painting, because when I looked at the images in Google on Caffieri, they were all very, very different to this painting. A lot of them were coastal scenes, and he's cited usually as a British watercolourist who paints watercolour scenes, and clearly that isn't anything like that. And when you look through images, there are very, very few portraits that are done by Caffieri. So I was, again, you know, I was kind of like intrigued why this man had painted this picture, which was very beautiful and just very different than his other scenes. So I then looked at the newspaper articles of the time, and Caffieri came up with quite regularity, and he was obviously very important as a painter in Victorian England. It was exhibited widely, and usually to acclaim. You know, the critics in like the Glasgow journals and Liverpool and London all said, you know, how beautifully he painted, that it was technically very accurate. It also said that Princess Alexandria in 1900 had loaned one of his paintings to an exhibition. So, you know, clearly he was very collectible at the time. And I sort of wondered again, you know, why this man sort of fell out of favour really. Why is he not critically acclaimed? You know, because he did have pedigree, and when you look at all of this information, you think, you know, people out there must know something about him, but it was so difficult to track down.